morning, class. I want you guys to keep this in mind. You're in a movie theater watching the premiere of one of the greatest movies of all time when all of a sudden an explosive goes off and there's gas everywhere. To make your night worse, there are gunshots being fired. So just keep this in mind. As a forensic psychology major, I have an inclination to knowing the reasons why some people commit murders. So I did some research on how violent media does in fact increase violent behavior, and I found some interesting facts. Most of us assume that because an event like a murder or shooting happens after observing violent media, that they are related. I will serve to prove that they are indeed related and correlated. Today I'd like to share several murders that have been influenced by violent media, and then I will serve to prove to you that they are in correlation. First, let's speak of several murders and massacres that happened because of the influence of violent media. The first is the Port Arthur massacre. Australia's worst serial killer, Martin Bryant, was influenced by the movie Child's Play. If you didn't know, Child's Play is a movie about a little boy who is given a doll, but this doll is actually possessed with the soul of a murderer. Bryant killed 35 people in the massacre in Port Arthur in 1996, shaking the psyche of the entire nation. As a schizophrenic, he became obsessed with the movie and the childlike characteristics of the doll and its ability to wreak vengeful destruction. He submitted to a psychiatrist that he was obsessed with the movie, and that was one of the contributing factors to the fateful massacre. Another murder that was influenced by the movie Child's Play was the Suzanne Capper murder. 4 people in England claimed that the movie Child's Play influenced the murder of Suzanne Capper, who was 16 and died in 1992. They had injected her with drugs, tortured her with pliers, and set fire to her house. All the while they were doing this, they were shouting out lines from the movie Child's Play. We have the Columbine massacre, which was influenced by the movie Natural Born Killers, and it may have been influenced also by the violent game Doom. This was a murder involving 2 high school seniors, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, who enacted an all-out assault on the Columbine High School. During the middle of the day, they basically planned to put bombs in the whole school and kill hundreds of their peers. With guns, knives, and a multitude of bombs, these 2 boys walked the hallways and killed. When the day was done, 12 people were murdered, 2 teachers, and they killed themselves in the process too. This was taken off of history1900.about.com. Lastly, we have the Aurora shooting, which was, if you didn't recognize the intro, which was a murder that was influenced by the movie Batman. James Holmes, who was 24, was masked and wore black clothes when he set off some sort of explosive. He opened fire on one of the 5 theaters in the complex that was hosting a midnight movie of the showing. The way that the movie Batman influenced him was that he dyed his hair red or orange, like the Joker, and he wore the gas mask. This was taken off of foxnews.com. Okay. Now let's talk about the impact of media on children and adolescents. First, I will show you this graph. This graph shows that basically from 1900 to 1980 there was a steady line of violence, but from 1980 to now, it shot up with gun violence. And this was taken off of Ngram from Google. This is the relation of gun violence to violent media. So off the internet, I found a psychological journal called The Impact of Media on Children and Adolescents. Here I found that the exposure to media violence increases aggressive interactions with strangers, classmates, and friends. I also found that there were 217 studies conducted between 1957 and 1990 that looked at the effects of television violence on antisocial behavior. The analysis revealed that a positive and significant correlation between TV violence and aggressive behavior was actually there, regardless of age. Now, according to the American Psychiatric Association, the debate is over. For the last 3 decades, the one predominant finding on research on the mass media is that exposure to media portrayals of violence increases aggressive behavior in children. Now we're going to talk about another journal I found. It's another psychological journal. It's called The Role of Media, Violence, and Violent Behavior. In this journal, they found that over 1,000 studies were made that attested to a causal connection between media violence and aggressive behavior in some children. Studies show that the more real life the violence is, the greater the likelihood it is that it will be learned by the child. This also relates to the Columbine massacre because if you notice, they were high school seniors or high school students, so they were influenced at a young age with violent media. I also found that to the extent that mass media presentations arouse the observer, aggressive behavior may also become more likely in the short run for 2 possible reasons: excitation transfer and general arousal. So what this means is that the people that do commit the murders that are influenced by violent media can become aroused or excited because they have seen it on TV, so if they enact it, they will feel happy. They also found that in recent years, the evidence has accumulated that human and primate young have an innate tendency to imitate whatever they observe. This also shows that whatever you see on TV or in commercials or in movies, you are influenced by the media. In conclusion, not only does violent media influence aggressive behavior, it is proven through various studies that it has an effect on kids, adolescents, and adults. Whether it is that you watch media as a kid or an adult, it does increase your chance in partaking in violent behavior. Thank you.